Hello my friends, it's time for a TAT. This is TAT number 3. I think it's number 3. Pretty sure it is, but anyway, if it's not, we'll make it number 3, okay? I got a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Actually, quite a few things. I want to talk to you about elder care, visa regulations, insurance, bank accounts, and buying CDs, weather in Manta, Dana's letter, healthcare, Stephen's story, and a service in town called InDrive. And I'm going to start on it as soon as I come back. Hey! Roger, Rocket Chick, Roger, hello there. So I got an email the other day from somebody that challenged me to talk about elder care here in Manta. So they asked me specifically about, are there healthcare facilities for the elderly? And back home we call them senior centers, nursing homes, old folks homes, but here in Manta, I don't know what they call them. There is the only one place that I know of here in Manta, and here's a picture of it, and it happens to be located right below us here, right behind this building that I live in. It's an ambulatory care facility. It's got a lot of senior people living in it. I pass by it every day and I see them. I think that these are people that are pretty much don't have family that can take care of them, because it seems that here in Ecuador, family takes care of everybody. Family is everything. And when you reach that point in your life where you're elderly and you need care, somebody in your family is going to take care of you. And I just don't think there's that many nursing homes and senior centers. If I find some, I'll put them in the description below, okay? Next thing I want to talk about is visa requirements. As you may or may not know, the Ecuadorian Immigration Service is talking about increasing the income requirement, minimum income requirement for people that are getting a visa here. They've increased it 3 times, from $425 to $1275. That doesn't mean that it's going to cost that much to get your visa. According to Miranda of Gringo Visas, she said that hasn't been decided on, and she hopes that it won't affect the cost. But the income requirement, I don't really, personally, I don't understand why in the hell they would raise that requirement. It seems to me like you want to attract people to come here. You want to give people a reason to come here, and raising the income requirements for people that are coming here on retirement doesn't make a lot of sense. But either way, it hasn't been approved yet. It's not in effect yet. When it does come into effect, I'll do a short video on it, okay? Just keep you posted. Insurance. I talked to an insurance agent the other day, and I'll tell you what I've done. I dropped my IESS insurance that I was paying $70 a month for, and I bought a private policy that cost me $97 a month. So you may be asking me, why would you buy a policy that's $30 more, $32 more per 70, 89, $22, 27, whatever, okay? Let's see, crap, 70, let's see, 97, 77, 79, $27 more. You think I'm kidding? I actually wrote that. I had to do it here. This is what happens when you get old, folks. You can't do this math in your head anymore. But anyway, so I'm going to put a link in the description of this insurance agent that I met. He is out of Cuenca. He is an English-speaking insurance agent, perfect English. He is also promoted by a couple other YouTubers that I won't mention, but there's really, I will tell you, Million JP also promote this guy. His name is Maurice. He convinced me to drop ISS and go with a private insurance that has a deductible. It's a $5,000 deductible. It will take care of everything that possibly could happen to me, heart attack, any kind of disease, anything that any other private insurance policy would cover. I asked him, I said, well, what about you know, why not have IESS? Well, we've all heard horror stories about IESS. I know people here personally that were hospitalized under IESS, and they didn't have any problems, and they were well taken care of, and they got their problems solved and everything. I know one man that spent 5 weeks in the hospital after a near fatal heart attack. He's up and about and alive and well, 87, 88 years old, and he did everything through IESS. And then you hear the random story from people saying that it's a nightmare, you never get your proper treatment, don't get the right medication, and so forth. I don't know if any of this is true or not. I just don't know what to believe, folks. How do you find out the truth, you know? Think you're going to ask IESS? I wouldn't. So anyway, to err on the side of caution, I went ahead and decided to buy a private policy. And Maurice explained to me that if I have an emergency, most likely I'll go to an IESS emergency room. And hopefully at that point, I'll be able to communicate to my doctors and have them get in touch with Maurice, and Maurice will give instructions on treatment, how treatment will be paid for, and how it will all be handled through the private policy. And he will just basically take it from there. Maurice has promised me that not only is he my insurance agent, but he is a facilitator, and he will help me get things done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a laminated card, keep it with my little thing that I carry in my pocket that has my schedule in it, and it's going to be basic instructions in English and Spanish on how to contact Maurice in the event that I'm in an emergency room, and the instructions are to contact him for further instructions, okay? So we'll find out about that, okay? If you know anything that I'm missing here, please leave a note in the comment section, okay? I got another email from somebody that asked me specifically about bank accounts and buying CDs. As you know, I'm not a fan of giving financial advice on this channel, and I'm not going to, but I will tell you what I've done. It's as simple as this, folks. The main question that this gentleman asked me was, how did I get the money transferred from the States to Ecuador so that I could invest it in CDs? Keep in mind, money laundering here is a major problem. It is a major problem. And so they have safeguards in place that are very rigid and very strict, and they do not sway on these safeguards. And they have some very strict requirements on how to get your money here and how to handle it. Folks, don't bring cash. Don't bring $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in cash to invest in a CD. That's just plain stupid. There is a way to do it. There's a way to do it, and do it legally, and do it properly, and do it safely. So here's what I did. Before I made the decision to come here, no, actually, after I made the decision to come here, I moved all of my money to Charles Schwab. I closed my investment account at TD Ameritrade. I closed my banking account, my checking, my savings account at a local credit union that I've had for years, and I moved everything to Charles Schwab. The reason why I went to Charles Schwab is because they are an international friendly banking concern, and that's number one. And number two, they reimburse you for every ATM fee that you incur here. Okay? Now, when I went to transfer, to do an international transfer from Charles Schwab to Jet here in Manta, where I bought my CDs and opened my savings account, my first request for the transfer was declined. So the way we got around with that was that, and Jet helped me with this, he gave me all the instructions. I actually went into my banker's office, and he, with my laptop, and we sat side by side, and he showed me how to fill out this wire transfer, but it was a domestic wire transfer. We transferred money from Charles Schwab to Banco Pichincha in Miami. There's the domestic transfer part. Banco Pichincha is an Ecuadorian bank. They transfer the money from Miami to my account here in Manta. All of this took place in 2 days, and it cost me $25 at Charles Schwab. Simple as that, folks. I used Javier Bermudez at Jet Cooperative. I'm going to put his contact information in the description below. I've talked about him before. I highly recommend him. And another thing too, folks, all you need to open a bank account here is a passport. That's it. Okay? So, if you have any questions about that, leave them in the comment section, please. Somebody asked me about the weather in Manta. Everybody seems to think that because we're... Hold on a second. There's a calling, okay? It is that time of day. It's 5:30, and it's time for a beer. People ask me about the weather here. I don't know if you can see behind me, but it's kind of an overcast day. I would say probably 90% of the time it's overcast here in Manta. It has been for the last 9 months. Here lately it's been kind of a balmy, warm, humid kind of place. You know, I mean, you can probably see the sweat and the grease on my face because I just can't get it off because it's so humid. Last Friday, the temperature here in Manta was 90 degrees. Sun was out. It felt very miserable because of the humidity. All in all, I still think that the weather in Manta is pretty decent, even if it is cloudy. I mean, a lot of people want sun. Me personally, I just melts in my mouth like crazy. Me personally, I like it cloudy like this sometimes. I like the fact that the sun comes out once in a while, and you know, it's not, you know, burning us up all day long every day. But it's like right now, it's probably about 80 degrees here, and it feels pretty decent. I'm out here on my patio, my balcony. I'm 9 floors up off the ground, so I get a little breeze up here, but still it's pretty nice. So, InDrive. I made a note here about InDrive. There is another transportation service here that I want to tell you about. It's called InDrive. You can actually put their app on your phone, and the way it works is it's kind of like competition for the taxi company, but you get to bid for your own price. You go on, you tell them where you want to go, where you are, and you say, I'm willing to pay $2 to go from point A to point B. And whatever driver is willing to accept that, whether he's in a taxi or a personal car, is going to show up. It's kind of like an Uber, but it's going to be taxi prices or better. I will keep you posted on that. I'm going to use them for the first time tomorrow. Don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to go somewhere. I think I'll see if I can go from here to Ecuador for a couple bucks. That's normally what I pay in a taxi, but I'm just going to test it and see how it goes. Now, I want to read a story to you, okay? And I got this today. It's from Stephen in the States, and it's kind of it's a good testament to the healthcare system here in Ecuador. And I want to read this to you, if you don't mind. It's a little lengthy. Most of it here and there. Okay, so bear with me, but listen to the story. Okay, it's very good. Don, I wanted to share my experience with you from my trip to Ecuador. I had contacted you a while back for information for a doctor in Ecuador and for a driver. While I wanted to check out Ecuador for a possible living situation for my wife and I also wanted to take her to the doctor to get a fifth opinion. Number 5, fifth opinion. Back in July 2021, my wife developed tremors in her hands and her right leg. She had seen 4 different neurologists here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with no diagnosis, no medicine that helped, or any suggestions as to what was causing the tremors. The last neurologist we went to told her that she was fine physically, but it was the wiring in her brain. That sounds real doctorly. And he said it was functional neurological disorder. Hell, I could have made that up. FND, yeah. Which he said the only treatment was physical therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Physical therapy and cognitive behavioral, well, you know what I'm saying. So before our trip to, I can't be so proper, okay? So before our trip to Ecuador, I contacted Dr. Pamela Barcia in Manta to schedule an appointment with her. Stephen didn't say where he found her, but that's okay. When we left Texas to come to Ecuador, my wife was still having to use the wheelchair and a walker in order to move around. Upon her first visit to Dr. Barcia, which cost $50, she examined my wife's scans and medical records and physically examined her and then determined that either it was a side effects from the vaccine, I assume this is from the COVID vaccine, or she had developed Parkinson's disease. Dr. Barcia prescribed her 2 medications that are prescribed for Parkinson's patients. I went to the pharmacy the next day and filled both prescriptions. 2 days later, my wife was walking around the apartment without the use of her cane or any assistance, and the tremors have stopped completely. We have been back home for 5 days, and she still has no tremors and is able to move around as if none of this ever happened. I wanted to share this story with you in order to demonstrate the level of medical care available in Ecuador. We are still contemplating moving to Manta. However, it will be months before we make a final decision. We went to Manta looking for a place to retire and ended up finding a miracle to give my wife her life back. I'll get this right, man. I thank you so much for all the information you've shared in your videos, and I will forever be in debt to Ecuador. Please feel free to share this story with your viewers so that everyone will know if they go to Manta, they can receive excellent medical care. Thank you, Stephen Murray. Yeah, that kind of gets to me right here. I'm not afraid to tell you. It's a testament to the excellent healthcare system that we have here in Ecuador. There's some great doctors here. And it's a testament to the shitty medical situation, healthcare situation in the United States. Sorry, but that's just the way I feel about it. Good for you, Stephen. Good for your wife. I'm so happy for both of you. I really am. I just can't. I've had some amazing things happen to me since I've been here too, and medical-wise, and it's just unbelievable that we can have such great care here in this country by doctors that really give a damn about us. It's not about money. It's about health care. My doctor, Dr. Gladys Garcia, comes to my apartment, and the last time she brought a nurse with her, she still charged me the same fee, $60, that she did the last time when she came by herself, and does an excellent job. I don't know, why can't we get that in the United States? You call a doctor there and they want to know who your damn insurance is. You can't even talk to a real person most of the time. So anyway, I wanted to share that story with you. Sorry if I got emotional. I don't give a flip. It's just, that's the way I am. I'm happy. I'm beyond happy. Now to something that'll really boil my blood. Oh, God. Okay, the last thing I want to talk to you about, I got myself together now, and we can get through this last piece here, and this will be it for this TAT. I got a letter from a lady named Dana. I'm going to read it to you. Hi Don, I've been looking for a place to retire myself. I have a nice little nest egg and will start collecting Social Security shortly. I have been watching lots of Ecuador videos, including yours, Amelia and JP, and Mr. Second Passport for over a month now, and have learned quite a bit. I hope. It's great because the three of you give different perspectives of living there and have explored a lot of the country, except for you, but you haven't been there as long. Here's what I have learned from the videos. Number one, it's definitely a third world country. Any place where you can't flush butt wipe is a third world country. Well, I'm sorry, I disagree with you on that, Dana. A third world country is an outdated and offensive term for a developing nation characterized by a population with low and middle income and other socioeconomic indicators. I'm going to put a link in the description to a Wikipedia article about the topic of third world, okay? I couldn't find any reference in this whole article anywhere, or any of the references within this article that said that a third world country is a country where you can't flush the toilet paper. Okay, I flush the toilet paper here. I've been told you shouldn't do it, but you know, I do it. I do it every single day. And if it gets stopped up, I plunge. It's like I said, flush and plunge. Flush and plunge. The term Third World was originally coined in times of Cold War to distinguish between those nations that are neither aligned with the West, NATO, nor with the East, the Communist bloc. Today, the term is often used to describe developing countries of Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Australia, Oceania. Finally, Third World countries were countries that remained neutral and allied with neither side. For example, going by the historical definition, nations such as Finland, Sweden, Ireland, and Switzerland were not aligned with either NATO or the Communist bloc, so were Third World countries. Okay, so it's not a Third World country because you can't flush butt wipe. Okay, sorry, Dana, I don't agree with that. I don't feel like I'm in a Third World country. I mean, it is a developing country. It's a developing city here in Manta. I've been in places in the United States that are a lot worse than this. Number 2, all the beaches and beach towns seem to really suck. The beaches suck. The weather sucks. There is really nothing worthwhile to do if you are 60 plus. This is what disappointed me the most. I was dreaming about buying one of those nice new modern condos on the beach, but for what? Again, I don't agree with that either. The beaches here are nice beaches. I mean, we're not in the Caribbean. Okay, I mean, I don't know what you're looking for, but this is not the Caribbean. This is not the western Panama coast of Florida, where they have all the white sandy beaches, Panama Beach and that area. Okay, but there's some nice beaches, beautiful beaches here. I'm going to put a link in the description from planetware.com that lists all the top-rated beaches in Ecuador. And then you people, you can make up your mind if this is true or not. Number 3, you will get sick and get sick often adjusting to the cuisine. BS. I've been here 9 months and I've never gotten sick from the cuisine. And listen, I've been sick from eating so much crap food in the United States. I've never gotten sick from eating the cuisine here in Ecuador. There's nothing to get used to. Okay? I don't know where you're getting that from, Dana. I'm probably going to lose Dana. You think, folks? Number 4, in the majority of the country, you cannot drink the water. Well, drink beer then, okay? You can drink water in this whole country. You just have to drink treated water. But I'll tell you what, look at my video from Cuenca, where I drank water right out of the tap. You can drink, the whole month that I was in Cuenca, I never once drank a bottle of water. Never once. Every drop of water I drank in Cuenca was right out of the sink, right out of the faucet in the kitchen sink. I filled up my water bottle. I was going to say, I filled up my water bottle, but this is actually my beer. But the water here is treated, I mean, but I wouldn't drink the water here, the tap water here, because they do say there's parasites in it. And so I just drink bottled water here. A 5-gallon jug of water cost me $2. So, but that's not true. You can't drink water. Come on, that's crazy. You have to always watch your back. So this number 5. You have to always watch your back so you don't get gringoed. How many times have you been gringoed in the United States, but you didn't call it gringo? Every time you go to the doctor in the United States, you get gringo. Every time you go to the dentist in the United States, you get gringo. Every time you make an insurance payment in the United States, you're getting gringo. Every time you go to the grocery store in the United States, you're getting gringo. Okay, don't tell me about getting gringo. Getting gringoed here is being ignorant and not ask, don't ask what anything costs here. Okay, I made that mistake the first month I was here. I asked every taxi driver how much was it, whether it was a 50-cent ride or a $3 ride. They were all $2 rides, okay? Yeah, I got gringo. But no, you don't have to watch your back. You just have to be smart. And you have to negotiate, okay? Don't be afraid to negotiate here. And if you have, usually most people get gringoed around here in taxis. That happens a lot. Ask before you get in the car. Don't get in the car and go somewhere and then say how much. You ask before you go. And this is another good example of when you can use InDrive. Because you negotiate, you settle the price before the car even picks you up. Okay? Number 6, buying property is a huge risk unless you plan on renting it out for investment income. No, I don't agree with that either. Folks, when you come here, rent for a year. Rent an apartment for a year while you go and find a place to buy, look at properties. I think that's the dumbest thing you can do, is to buy a piece of property when you first come here. Me personally, I'll never buy a piece of property here because I don't want to be in the real estate business. I don't want to be in the maintenance business. I don't want to have to pay taxes. I don't want to have to deal with all these intricacies that come with being a homeowner that I've dealt with back in the States. I'd rather pay a lump sum fee every month and have everything taken care of for me. Works for me. I've been doing it now here for going on 9 months. I spent a lot less money on shelter here than I ever spent in the United States. Buying property is a huge risk. Buying property is a huge risk anywhere you go, really. Number 7, it is difficult and somewhat dangerous to travel around the country, and because of poor infrastructure, what poor infrastructure? It can take hours to only travel a relatively short distance. I could say that about driving from here to Guayaquil or from Manta to Crucita. Yeah, the road's pretty bad. But also, a lot of the bigger highways that have been on Ecuador were just fine. I felt like I was back in the States. I don't understand where you're getting that from either. I drove from here to Guayaquil, from Guayaquil to Cuenca. Actually, I rode with my friend Juan Zambrano, and after we left Guayaquil, between Guayaquil and going to Cuenca, God, it reminded me of driving through Nebraska, Kansas, some of the plain states of the United States. Great highway. I don't know where you're getting that from. Number 8, the 24/7 noise. You guys mention this a lot. I will not disagree with you on that. In Manta, noise is a big issue here. And people ask me all the time about certain places to live here, and I have to be really careful about how I answer that, because there are a lot of places here that you couldn't give to me just because of the weekend party noise that goes on. And these are properties that are really nice, and I don't understand how in the hell the developers here are not gathering at City Hall and raising all kinds of hell with the mayor and trying to get this situation under control. The answer you'll get is that that's the way we do it, and that's our culture. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Dana. Number 9, the dogs. They're everywhere. Even on top of houses. Overall, it seems everyone comes back to live in Cuenca, and it looks like you might also. I don't know about that. That hasn't been decided yet. Yes, there are dogs everywhere. There are dogs. Most of these are dogs that are owned by somebody. But when I was in Cuenca, I saw lots of loose dogs running around on the streets. I never saw one on a roof, though. I saw some roosters on the roof. Never saw any dogs. So what I have learned from these videos is that you can move to Ecuador and live about a third cheaper than in the States. And for this, you're giving way too much and risking a lot too. Just my observation, Don. I wish you the best, and if for some reason I find myself in Ecuador, which I doubt that we will, I will look you up. If you do come, please look me up if you're available, and I hope I am. Thanks for the great videos, and I will still keep watching. Please do, Dana. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean that you gotta, abandon my channel. So anyway, folks, that is it for this TAT. The tide's coming in. It's getting louder out here from the tide. I hope you can hear me. I will try to filter as much of this as I can. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know when I post a new video, ring that bell right over there. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao. Bullshit. Okay, I've been here 9 months and never gotten sick from the cuisine. Hey, why are you running? You okay? Somebody chasing you? It's only 7 a.m.